Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Communications from Home. This is my Tuesday evening live stream, and I'm so happy you're here with me. Thank you, all of those that are in the live chat and that will be watching this by recorded version. Thank you for making time in your day. And I also want to make a special thank you and welcome to the show for those that are watching by YouTube. Yeah, we're simulcasting. And we just started doing this, so it's still really brand new for us, and so we're just glad that you guys are here. And so let's get started. Tonight's show is all about, are you a spiritual seeker? Right, what does that mean? I know for a fact, and from my life, is that when I was consciously aware of the fact that I was a spiritual being, I couldn't get enough information in. I was reading. This was all before YouTube, really. So it was a lot of reading, going to classes, talking to people, and trying to absorb as much information as I possibly could. And that being that seeker, right? And I think that's one of the things we all have in common here at Star Nations is that we really are avid readers and searchers of spiritual information. And so tonight, that's what this is all about. But we're using our monthly Star Nations magazine, which is a spiritual based magazine, as the platform for that. So, we're on issue 86. I know, right? 86. Man, I can remember the very first one that I pulled together, the very first number one magazine. Um, I was nervous. It's like, is this really going to work? Never worked with an app before, and much less doing a layout. And I was doing the layouts on my own at that time. And yeah, it was nerve wracking. And so, I speed fast forward to the July issue, and I have to say, we're getting really good at this because we published a issue in the middle of a Mercury retrograde, and amidst a whole bunch of good planets going retrograde, and it was actually pretty smooth. And usually, when we're doing this during a Mercury retrograde, we usually are dealing with glitchy stuff, communication issues and that kind of thing. But this time around, it was really smooth. And even though there was other things going on, that really went well. And Rob, if you could do me a favor and bring up the cover for the July issue, I'll show you this. This is, I know I'm partial. I really do. But this particular cover has been, it's one of my favorites for a lot of reasons. Yeah. One of the topics this month is about sunsets. And so I was looking for sunset pictures. And what I did is I went, usually I'm online and going to places like Dreams Time and that sort of thing, right? Pixabay, Unsplash, and I'm searching for cover photos. And instead, this time, what I did was I turned to our community, Star Nation's community, and I put a call out for sunset pictures to use in my editorial. And when I did that, I realized I have a really good friend who is a photographer. Now, she calls herself a novice, right? But a lot of her pictures, we actually used her pictures, I think maybe two other times in the magazine. Her name is Mary Anderson Fry, and she's a good friend of mine. She's from Madison, Wisconsin, which is I'm north of her by about 2 hours, and this is one of her pictures on the cover. This is actually a sunset. We're looking west, of course, of the sunset, but this is the Mississippi River just looking out her cabin front windows. And she was probably out on the deck when she took this picture. It's a gorgeous place. I've been there a few times. I actually taught a class there, and this is where the eagles. We could literally they would fly up because this is sitting on a bluff, and we would have eagles kind of floating up and kind of hovering right in front of her decking, and so it's a very cool place. But This is one of my favorite pictures that she's taken, and I asked her if we could use it for the cover, and she gave us her go ahead. So thank you, Mary Anderson Fry, if you're watching. So thankful for it, and it's because it's a beautiful picture, and it really does help showcase the highlighted articles in this particular issue. So yeah, isn't it good? It's one of my favorite ones. Thank you, Rob, for bringing it up, bringing the cover up, the picture. If we could say hi to a few folks, that would be great. Let's see who's in the house. Yay, Rochelle's here. Hello, Rochelle. You found us. Good one. I'm sorry you couldn't make it to the mini class the other day. Couldn't find us. So we're going to try to fix that. Okay. So thanks for being here tonight and being my spiritual secret, because I know she is. Hey, there's Rob. Rob happens to be my producer. He must be putting this in the YouTube chat. I bet that's where it was. It's so cool. Yeah, it's so cool. We can actually see the YouTube chat comments in the studio where Rob is at. And yeah, so they come into the studio. So it looks like it's all coming into one funnel, and it's so cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Greetings from Facebook land. That's right. So we can talk to people from YouTube at the same time. Barbie's here. Hello, Barbie. Good to have you here. I'm so glad you could join us. And Deb's here too. Hello, Deb. Good to have you here. Deborah is also on the executive team for Star Nations. She helps me with the magazine. Thank you, Deborah. She's the one who sends out information to our subscribers. Thank you. She makes things a little bit easier for me. Thank God. Hey, Annie's here. Hello, Annie. Good to have you here, lady. This is one busy lady. She owns a campground here in Wisconsin, and it keeps her hopping. Yeah, so it's good to have you here, Anne. Always good to see you in the chat when you can make it. Yeah. All right, we got one more, it looks like maybe. And Kimberly. Hello, Kimberly. Good to have you here, lady. Kimberly is across the pond a ways. Yeah, so it's always good to see you in the chat too, Kimberly, because I know it's what, you're 6 hours ahead of us. Yeah, so it's kind of late by you. Yeah, so it's good to have you in the live chat. It's a good thing you like to stay up late. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're going to get started with sharing with all of you the backstory to this particular issue of Star Nations magazine. Now, you all know that it's one of my favorite things to do for Star Nations. It's one of the foundational pieces here at Star Nations organization. Between the live stream shows and the magazine was the second piece that we put into place back in 2013, October of 2013. And so the magazine actually publication really fits for me because I just love that adrenaline at the very beginning of a brand new project, right? Love it. And so I get to have that every month because every issue is new and it's a very creative process. And so working with all of the contributing writers and yeah, we actually start the next issue while we're still working on the current issue. And so they kind of overlap in a way in the creation process. As we're doing all the final few edits of the current issue, I'm sending out an email to the contributing writers to prep for the next issue. And so it's kind of exciting. Well, what I'm going to do one of these days, and I'm actually going to do some video around it and lead you guys through the process because I like it. I like it a lot. And I'm sure that some of you would like it too. So with this particular issue, we had some interesting goings on because it was Mercury retrograde, and we've done publishing during Mercury retrograde before. So, you know, it's wasn't our first Mercury retrograde rodeo. So we kind of get prepared in a way. We make sure that we're in good communication, right? We're not, going quiet for a while. And if we need to, because, we have our personal lives and that sort of thing, if something's going on, then we let everybody know that, oh, I'm going to be gone for a couple of days, or, I'm out today until around 6 p.m. and then I'll be back online. So we have to really make a concerted effort for real good communication. And like I said, this particular Mercury retrograde, you guys all know what it was like out there, right? Because I even checked on you. When was that? A couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? A week ago, 2 weeks ago, because it was pretty intense. And so, but it didn't really bother the flow of the magazine, which was really good. The reason why I call this Calling All Seekers is because the articles that are written by the contributing writers are all intended to assist our readers in their earth walk, their journey here. And so much of the articles are channeled pieces. Many of the articles are written from the point of view of their personal experience, and so they're really, really talking from their heart to you. Okay. And so, what I want to do is share with you the highlighted articles that appear on the cover of the magazine. And so, we're going to start with Minnie Kansman's piece called Friendship. And Rob, if you could bring up the picture of that one. So one of the, don't you just love that picture? One of the art topics for this month was friendship. And Minnie, um, she found this picture. And she didn't take this picture. Minnie usually takes almost all of the pictures that appear in her article. This one she didn't. This is the one that she found. And she said, I just got to use this one because with the butterfly on the frog's nose, literally, because you wouldn't expect a frog and a butterfly to go together, right? But it was a symbol of a unique kind of friendship. And so, and then she also includes a couple of quotes to that first one. The only way to have a friend is to be one. And yeah, and I have to tell you, Minnie and I have been friends for many years since 2002. And she is a good friend. She really is. She's one of my sisters, and in this particular article, she uses Aristotle's um, definition of three kinds of friendships. She talks about friendships as a utility, friendships as of pleasure, and then friendships of the good. And if you are considering keeping a friendship, creating a friendship, this article could be really, really helpful to you because she really does express the examples of what a friendship is. She shares with us about specific friendships in her life. She says that there is work involved in friendship, commitment, persistence, attention, and trust, just to name a few. Um, there is much to be gained from each of these labors. Real friends are like gemstones to be cherished and loved. Don't you just like that? I mean, to be cherished and loved. And doesn't everybody want to feel that? And so here's a question to you. And this article actually helped to kind of frame some questions for myself because you know what? I get to read every article at least 4 times, sometimes 5. And so, I get to ponder them a bit. And so here's a question about friendships. Do you believe you're a good friend? And how do you define for yourself a good friend? All right. Now that's kind of a tough question. Makes you kind of stop for a minute. And here's one. Do you have a good friend? Do you have a best friend? And I ask that because sometimes we have a lot of acquaintances, and sometimes we don't have a whole lot of friends, and some people don't even have a best friend. Right? Yeah. For a long time, Paul, my husband, he had a lot. He knew a lot of people, but he really didn't have a best friend until he met and worked with his best friend, Milt. And they've known each other now, oh gosh, it's got to be 35 years, something like that. And so, yeah, I think it takes a little effort. And Annie's in the house. Annie, and from the military point of view, right? Milt was also a recruiter. At the same time, Paul was a recruiter, and so they had that thing in common. But it went far beyond that. Far beyond that. And so, yeah. So, are you a good friend? Do you have a best friend? And then you can start wondering for yourself, how do you do that? How have you been a good friend? What's that meme that you can always tell a best friend? Um, let's see, a good friend will bail you out, but a best friend will be sitting next to you in the cell, you know, waiting for bail. Yeah, something like that. In other words, the best friend is going to be there through thick and thin. Yeah. So that is Minnie Kansman's article. The column is the same name of her live stream show, Nature Connections, and she has written a very powerful friendship article here, and it really is. It really is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rob, if you could pull up Ann Retzloff's comment here. Yeah, thank you, Rob. She says, excellent and very appropriate photograph. Yes, absolutely. And then in her next comment, because Anne actually knows Paul. They work together in the National Guard. She goes, patriots and battle buddies for life. Exactly, exactly. And you guys really do stick together. You really do. Rob says your friend will be sitting next to you saying she didn't look like a cop, did she? That's right. That's exactly right. Mm, mm. That's funny, Rob. All right. So the next highlighted article in this issue of July of the Star Nations magazine's July issue. The next one is by Ed Langen, and it's Keep Your Balance. Keep Your Balance. Now Minnie writes for us every month. Ed writes for us quarterly. And Ed is our resident law of attraction expert, right? And in his article, keeping your balance under the column name of Life Wisdom with Ed Langen, which is also the name of his show, um, it really is about that balance. And don't we all strive for it? We strive for it. We can really feel when we're out of balance. We're kind of out of sorts, right? Can't quite pull it together. And then you're wondering why things are happening a certain way in your life, and then you realize, oh, I'm not balanced. And how do you get balanced? Well, Ed Ed, this is what he shares. He said, would you like to experience a more balanced life? That was his question. It's like, yeah, yes, I would. He says, in our modern world, maintaining inner balance can be difficult. It can be a real challenge. It can feel like we're walking across a tightrope, doing the best we can to stay in balance and not fall off. He shares his insight into creating a balanced life. Right? So when he used that metaphor about the walking a tightrope, the first time I read his article, I was thinking, you know, there's a rule, a guideline in circus people and those that walk the tightrope. Many times you'll see them with something in their hands, their tools, right? It could be a chair, or it could be a baton or something like that. They have something in their hands. And the rule is that if they fall off the rope, they have to hold on to whatever it is in their hands. They can't drop it. The first time I read that, I thought, how do you stop yourself from having that natural impulse to reach out, you know, to stop your fall? The reason why they don't let go of their equipment is because depending on how high they're up, their dropped equipment could really injure somebody who's on the ground watching, right? Yeah. And I read that and I thought, well, that makes sense. So what happen, what happens is that Yeah, they're protecting other people as they're falling. Isn't that is the first time I read that I thought, holy smokes. But it makes sense. It makes sense. So Ed is really talking about how do we strive for balance? How do we gain our balance when everything around us is off balance? Love the quote here from of Mahatma Gandhi. Each one has to find their peace from within, and peace to be real must be unaffected by outside circumstances. Yeah. So outside circumstances can't knock you off balance. Can't knock you off balance. And so many of us do get knocked off balance, don't we? Depending on what just came into our lives. And so Ed Ed offers some tips in his article. I'm not going to spoil your read. You're going to have to read the article to find out because they're pretty good. Yeah, so Ed is very pragmatic, right? He's a very grounded spiritual teacher, and one of the things that he talks about is being grounded. It really helps you to stay balanced, right? So thank you, Ed Langen, for offering your insight and also your experience with being both in balance and out of balance. Because everyone, don't you agree? Everyone experiences it. Who do you know that is always in balance? Honestly, I can't think of anybody. Anybody that I know. I mean, if I know them really well, I've seen them. I've been there. when they're having a challenge and off balance. Been there. So to help them, at least to sit with them. Right? Yeah. So thank you, Rob, for bringing up the picture. And it looks like we have a couple of more comments. Rochelle says, yes, Deb and I have been friends for the last 20 years. Trust, honesty, no BS, love, understanding, patience to me is qualities of a serious friendship. Good one, Rochelle. Yes. And the other thing is that it really does need to be nurtured. It needs to be nurtured. In other words, we need to spend time together, right? Spend time together. Whether it's on telephone, chatting, maybe visiting in person. Right now, a lot of Zooms are going on, right? Video chats, that sort of thing. We have to nurture our friendships. Yeah, because otherwise, eventually, what happens is the energy that's holding up that friendship tends to flatten out, right? It tends to fade. Although we do have those friends that we might not have seen in a really long time, and then when we do see them, we pick up right where we left off, right? Like there wasn't ever a break. I have a couple people like that in my life. Yeah, but you know what? When we're together, we nurture that relationship. We do. Yeah. So thanks for that, Rochelle. It's a good one sharing with us. Hey, Violet's here. Hello, Violet. Good to have you here. Violet happens to be a very good supporter of Star Nation's everything. And some of you know that I just love her body butter. Every time I see you, Violet, I have to mention the body butter. It's good stuff. Violet's Herbal Organics. If you haven't tried it, you guys have to give that a try because I when I found it, oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. And I think she's running a special this month. I think. Got to check it out. She has a Facebook page on it. Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next piece. Thank you, Violet, for being here. Let's move on to the next article. Yeah, Rochelle. So good. Yes, it is very important because when we don't nurture it, it just kind of fizzles out, right? So let's move on to the next article by Sharon Rosenblum. And Sharon's article, The Promise of Sunset. It's in her column called Nourishing Body and Soul. And Sharon happens to be also one of my sisters. I wanted to use her article as one of the highlighted articles this month because of the picture she paired up with her article. This particular picture of sunset is when she lived on the island of Maui. And it is one of those sunset pictures that, you could look at it for a really, really long time. And it really does have all those golden colors to it, as a sunset would have. Yeah, it's beautiful. And so she shares with us about the living on Maui during that time frame. She says that the sunset is a time to honor the day, every day, for all that we have done or been able to do during that day. It is a promise that another day will come. We will have another opportunity to make amends, get it right, to correct errors, and to forge a new way of life. And really, if you love sunsets, you're going to love this article. The other thing she does, okay, so having somebody like Sharon for a friend is so good because she loves to cook and bake. And whenever we get together as sisters, you better bet she's going to bring some sort of baked goods. And she is gluten free. Yeah. So, many of her articles, she has recipes. She does with this particular article too. And I think this one was strawberry cream bars, and they're gluten free cream bars. I know Paul and I are going to try the recipe. She says that, and I think this is also the one that's got low carbs in it too, if I remember right. If I remember right. So, and actually, many people don't know this about Sharon. Sharon was also in the military. She was in the Air Force, and she was an air medic during the last days of Vietnam. And she is a wealth of information. She happens to also be my main go to editor. She edits almost everything that I do for Star Nations. She was a high school English teacher at one time, and she is a whiz at editing just about any kind of document. Yeah. And so, thank you, Sharon, for sharing so much about the Maui sunset and the heartfelt um, beauty of those sunsets. So thank you so much for that. Yeah. Good one. I love it. Love, love, love it. She's also a really good photographer too. All right. So next up is Christine Pollock. Christine Pollock. The reason why, and she's also one of my sisters. She's one of my good friends. She started out as a student, a client, a student, and we have been good friends, sisters friends, since 2003 or four, something like that. And you might be wondering why is all her sisters in this issue? It is because one of the topics was about friendship. Mm. And Christine and I were talking on video chat. I don't know, probably about 2 or 3 months ago, and I had just started the Elder series on this show, right? And we were talking about that, and she was talking about her realizing that she was an elder, and the day that she came to that conclusion, she said it was like oh my God, and that's why she titled her article, and this is a featured article, "Suddenly an Elder," and she talks about how this came to be. It's because her aunt on her mom's side of the family had passed away, walked on, and that left Christine as the oldest female from her mom's side of the family alive. And here's the thing, she realized she was also an unrecognized elder. And so that came from a title to one of my shows, The Unrecognized Elder. And as we were talking, and she was sharing with me, I said, would you mind? Could you please write an article for the July issue of Star Nations magazine? Because your story is so good that we have to have it in the magazine. And so she did. She said yes, thank goodness. Um, and the thing is that Christine is also a spiritual artist, and she has included three of her original paintings in her article. This happens to be Saturn, I believe. I think it's Saturn. She did a series of paintings of the planets and paired them up with goddesses that represent each of those planets. And as she was working through that series, she realized that it was really an unfolding and the healing of the female lineage in her family and honoring her matriarchal lineage. Yeah. So I hope you guys love this article as much as I do. It's so good, and she writes so much from her heart. And so the artwork that you're going to see in her article are all hers, her own artwork. She says, I got to read this to you because it's good. It comes right out of her article. She goes, I'm an elder. In her featured article, Christine shares with us her realization that she is now the oldest female on her mom's side of the family. She also shares how she worked through grief and her love of her female ancestors. You got to check out this soulful article and Christine's art pieces. So good. Yeah, and most of the time, her medium that she works in is oil pastel. So good stuff. Good. Thank you. Thank you, Christine, for writing this featured article for Star Nations magazine. We really do appreciate it and sharing that story. So thank you. Thank you, Rob, for bringing the picture up. I think that storm, we were supposed to get a really bad storm. I think it went by us. The sky is a lot lighter out. Okay. So as you can see, we had a lot of really good articles it was hard to select which ones should be highlighted because they all could have been on the cover. They could have all been there. Um, the next one up is by Ortrun Franklin, and it's entitled The Balancing Scale. The Balancing Scale. Whoops, wrong one. That's a promise of a sunset. We need the balancing scale. I think I sent that one to you. I hope I did. Did I send it to you? I don't know.
You did. Give me a second to find it.
Okay, all right. That's all right. I'm sure I could talk about something while we wait. So, with this article, with this issue, oh, there it is. Good one. All right. Love it. Oh my gosh. Talk about this picture. The balancing scale. Orchun was writing about balance, and she's bringing in the Egyptian information about balance and the goddess Mot. And the goddess Mot uses those scales to weigh the purity of a soul. And it said that, she used a feather, right? That the soul had to be lighter than the feather. And so looking for a picture for this particular article, oh my goodness, it took me a while. It took me a while to find a suitable depiction of this because I wanted it to really show the Egyptian quality to it and to also be, how do I want to say this, that fits the meditation that goes along with this article. It's a guided meditation that Ortrun put together for us. The music I found to go with it, and also to find this picture, because I could have used the scale or the feather and the scale, right? Do you think I could find one that actually looked really good? I wanted it to really pop, and I couldn't find one. But this one I thought would really work, and because it's so Egyptian, we can get that sense of it, right? The article. Yeah. So, Ortrun, she says that the message of balance and harmony is a foundational law of the universe. It's intertwined in nearly all ancient teachings as well as modern perspectives. Ortrun shares about the Egyptian goddess Mat in balance. She also shares with us the guided meditation about our inner balance scale. And it's one of, okay, I listen to a lot of Ortrun's guided meditations because of the magazine. Um, and I really, really like this one a lot. Um, when we're doing those meditations for grounding, balance, and protecting, this one comes really close to helping us to understand our inner balance. So if you get the magazine, you want to read this article, please please listen to the guided meditation. Do the meditation and let us know about how it affected you with your inner balance, understanding your inner balance. Okay, because it's really good. It's really really good. Yeah, Orchard has been writing with us since the beginning. I think she started in 2014. Um, Minnie has been with us the longest, I think. She started at the very, very beginning in 2013. Yeah. Out of these articles, anyway. All right. Thank you, Orchard, for your article. Thank you so much. Yeah. Now, there's other articles involved too. Those were just the highlighted ones that were on the cover. There is a total, I think, of 14 articles in this particular issue. And yeah, 14. All my notes. All my notes. Ah, hey, Christine's here too. Paul, Rob, could you bring up Christina's hello? Hello, Christina. Good to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, and thank you. I don't, we can't tell who's YouTube chat and who is Facebook chat. So welcome everybody. If you're commenting from YouTube, thank you so much. We're very brand new to that, to simulcasting, and so it's fun. And I got to thank Rob for that. He took the lead. He jumped in first. He jumped into the simulcast pool. And so that means that we're actually broadcasting live into Facebook, into the Star Nations organization's main fan page, business page, and also the Star Nations organization's uh, YouTube channel. Yeah, so it's brand new, brand new. So with this particular article issue, the July issue, um, one of the things that I wanted to share with you about it is how friendship really paved a lot of the way for us because all of the contributing writers, we all are friends. And many times it was Star Nations that brought us together, whether the contributing writers are show hosts or they're just good friends that from a lot of years. Okay. And even the people who do our layout for the magazine itself, we're good friends. I Angie, the one Elf Elm is the name of their business. Angie happens to be my sister-in-law, and she's my husband's oldest sister. And so I have known Angie for 40 years. For 40 years. And so we get along really, really well. Um, we're good friends. We're relatives, but we're also good friends. And the other person who actually is the lead in their business happens to be her daughter, my niece, Nissa. And Nissa is a creative soul. She may be young, but let me tell you, she can lay out articles. She can lay out graphic artists for promotions. Right now, she's working on the updating the website for us. And her father, Dan, happens to be the developer for our website, and he's my go-to person when it comes to anything website-ish. In fact, you guys don't even know this. I think I shared it with Rob. I might have even mentioned it to Orchard, but It was at the end of June. End of June. It was on a Wednesday. How do I know this? Is because I was in a training for a mini chat, and I went out to our website to grab a link to use in the training, and our website was wasn't there. It wasn't there. I was expecting to see our front page, and it was a blank white. And I'm sitting in this virtual training, trying to go, and my mind is going, oh my God, what happened to our website? And so I just sat there, took a couple deep breaths, and I'm talking to my spiritual team. And I said, okay, you got to help me with this. What's my first move? What do I do to find out what happened to the website? And so it was like, send Dan a text. So I'm on my phone and I'm sending Dan a text. Basically, it was like SOS. So for 3 days, this is during Mercury retrograde. Remember when I said everything else was a problem or challenge, but not the magazine? That's what I meant. So 3 days, 3 days we're working on where did the website go, and working with the techs at the platform that we have for the provider for the internet for the website. Yeah. So I started dubbing what we were doing Operation Website Rescue. That was it. Operation Website Rescue. Um, Basically, I was the communication person between our developer and the tech person because we couldn't get our developer in to be able to use the chat. It was really poster child for Mercury retrograde. So all this was going on while we were working on the July issue, and so I am so grateful that the issue, the actual magazine, came together, and it was very smooth and very. It was easy. It was easy and fun. And in the meantime, on the other side of the coin for us, we were dealing with really technical issues when it came to the website. Toward the end, on that third day, all I could do was smile about it and kind of laugh. It's like, okay, so what do we do now? And Dan sent me a text and said, "It's up, it's on," which was good. Yay, right? Yeah. Until we realized that the pages that loaded were outdated by like 5 years. They don't know. The techs don't know why or how that happened. And so my developer, they had to go in and reload all the current stuff. So, so I'm very grateful to all those people who really understand how to put together websites and all that stuff, because that meant that I could focus my energy on the magazine, on the magazine, and end up with a beautiful cover and really heart touching um, articles in there. Yeah. I didn't, this one is not a highlighted article, but I do want to share one of the articles with you by Leslie Serenesi. The name of her column is Communicating with Sacred Animals. And Leslie has been writing for us for, I think, 4 years. I think it's almost 4 years. And the title of her article is More Alone Than Ever. And I had to say that when I read this one, it really touched me. Why? Is because she wrote it from a perspective of how our animals, our pets, how they reacted to and are still reacting to um, the virus, the COVID virus stuff. Yeah, because most of us most of us who have pets and we work outside the home, our pets are alone most of the day, right? So when we had the shutdown and people were staying home, their pets were going, "What's going on? Why are you home? Yay, I'm glad you're home, but what's going on?" And getting reacquainted with their pets during the day. And so Leslie wrote about her experience with her own two dogs because she was working from home. She actually 9 to 5. She works at a zoo. I think it's the Detroit Zoo, if I'm not mistaken. And so, since the zoo was closed, she was working from home for some stuff for them. But she also has her own business for animal communications, right? So, and that's what she was doing from home. And her dogs were couldn't, it's like they were helping her. They were helping her when she was working with her clients from a distance, right? Through Zoom and through phone calls and that sort of thing. Her dogs, they would come and lay underneath the dining room table, which became her office. And what happened is that she and her husband took their dogs and they drove west they're going to be moving out to Montana at some point. So they have like a campsite. It's more than a campsite. It's a cabin out in Montana. And so, because she has a different kind of relationship with her two dogs now, they actually helped her to locate where they want to work in this new place, right? Yeah. So more alone than ever. Um, has I'm not going to give away the title to you. You're going to have to read the article for that. But it was so sweet. It was so sweet. I was telling Paul. I said, you might want to have the Kleenex next to you when you read this one, because we might not really consider what our pets go through when we're not home or found what it's like to be with them more often as we're working from home. It was, yeah, it was an eye opener. Yeah. All right. So let's get caught up. It looks like we have a couple of messages, posts. Yeah, I love Orton's meditations. Me too. Me too. She and her voice, it's her voice. Yeah. Thank you for that, Violet. I do too. Clara, hey, Clara's here. Hi, Clara. She goes, love your magazine. Thank you. I'm so glad you do. Um, yeah, because all of the writers, Clara, all of them, they're writing directly from their own experience, and also many of them are channeling their articles. I don't know if you do that or if you can tell, but they do. Yep. Hey, Annie, she says, my new rescue doggie is great and totally in tune with what I'm dealing with, researching, experiencing right now. Always wants to be as close as possible and faces out. Um, and faces out. That's all I can read. It cut off your the rest of your. Sorry about that, Anne. Yeah, yeah. Well, number one, congratulations on your new dog. Um, and they are really in tune with us. Georgie, guys, he just had a birthday on Monday. He's 2. George, when he's up here with me at Star Nations Academy, when I'm broadcasting, usually when we're here with me, he's underneath the table. Sometimes literally laying on my feet. Um, so that's part of his job, is to hold the energy for us. And so they certainly can feel us. They know what we're doing, right? So, and such a great thing, right? To have your dog there with you, assisting you. Yeah, that's good. Thank you for sharing that. Um, yeah, for those of us who work outside the home, and we found ourselves home day after day for how many weeks. Yeah, our pets really got used to that. So what happens if you go back to work and you're no longer working from home? What are you going to do, right? To balance that out, because it's going to be different. It's different. Although there's so many more places now that are allowing the people to bring their dogs in to work with them, which I think is great. Yeah. So I'm looking at the time. I want to share a couple of other things with you that's coming up. So if you're interested in the magazine and reading some of the articles that I just shared with you, um, we have it offered in just about every possible version, however you like to read, whether it's reading it on your phone or on your tablet that's digital. Also, print on demand we have available. And for some people who like to read on their laptop or their desktop, we have it in PDF. And also, we have it in web viewer. For those people who don't even want to download it to their hard drive, it's in web viewer. And so we have it any way you like to read it, we have it for you. We do. And you can just go to starnations.org to our website and click on the magazine button, and you'll find how to get this month's issue. And also, I think probably the last 4 or 5 issues, you can just click a button and it'll take you right over to our partners at issue.com to order your digital um, or your PDF version of the magazine. If you want to print on demand, then you'll have to go to our partners at MagCloud. And at MagCloud, you can order your print on demand copy. You can also get it by web viewer from them and also by PDF if you want. So, yeah. So just go to the website. That's probably the easiest way to send you. And you can use the buttons there, and it'll take you to either one of our partners, and you can order your copy. Yeah, yay. Let's see. Yeah, and she says he's a 6-year-old black lab and awesome. He loves his newfound freedom. Pretty much everyone at the campground knows Honey. Oh, his name is Honey. Oh my goodness. Well, that's a great name. Anne, our Paul's and my very first dog together was a golden retriever Irish setter mix, and her name was Sugar. Okay, she was my girl, my furry girl. I originally wanted to name her Honey, and Paul wouldn't let me name her Honey because she was supposed to be a hunting dog, and yeah, he said he didn't want to be out in the woods calling honey for his dog. Yeah, but we ended up naming her Sugar. So does that make it any better? I don't think so, but yeah, that's Paul for you, right? Yeah. So now, Anne, if you could after the show, when you can put a picture to the comments or send us a picture, we would like to see a picture of Honey. Yeah. And what a good dog. He found himself a good home, that's for sure. Because Anne's going to love him up. Yeah. All right. So with the magazine, you can get the magazine as a monthly issue, which is $2.99, or you can do a annual subscription, and that's $24.99. So however you want to do that's fine. We'll help you with that. Okay. All right. So here's this is that we have a little time, so I want to share a couple other things that's happening at Star Nations with you. Oh my goodness. We have online classes ready. Yay. It's taken us a little while to pull this one together. Not because it's difficult or anything. It's just getting the time, getting the time to get everything pulled together. So the first one that's up is actually this month. I think it's July 24th. No, 26th. July 26th. And that is a class with Ed Langen, and it is Law of Attraction Part 1. And we have a photo for you. Just love this photo. Okay, this is Nissa's creation. She took the raw information that I gave her, and this is what she designed for us. Isn't it pretty? Love it. Gave her the picture, gave her the pictures and the text. This is what she came up with. Gorgeous. So Ed is teaching Law of Attraction Part 1. So if you've never ever taken a Law of Attraction class, this is so good because it's online. It's only $50. It says the deposit's due tomorrow, but you know what? We can be flexible with that. He's going to cover the 6 steps to manifest anything. Learn the power of your thoughts. Use the law of attraction in your life and boost your vibration. All that, right? And so, yeah, it's good stuff. When You can go to our website, starnations.org, and just click on the Academy button. Classes that are offered, okay? And it's easy registration. It's not that hard. But if you've never taken a law of attraction class, now's the time, especially with Ed, because he uses a multiple layered way of getting to the manifesting. He'll actually use some tapping with you too. So yeah, if you're interested, right, do that. And Rob, if you could put in starnations.org website, that would be perfect. And you can get it into the comments as well. That would be helpful. Thank you. So I'm trying to make it easy for you guys. Just go to the website and you're going to see all the buttons there. And you can click on the magazine. You can click on the Academy to get more information about each one of these classes. There you go. Yay. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so Ed's got this one coming up this month yet. And next month in August, he's also offering something called the Meeting with the Guides. So Ed is a channel. He does channeling and a meeting with the guides. That's on August 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. This is online. We're using Zoom for all the classes. And this one's $35. And it's kind of like a gallery thing. Have you ever been to a psychic gallery? I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that. It's not so much asking the question ahead of time, is that during the class or during the time with Ed, he and his guides will answer your questions for you. And actually, it's more like a conversation. Okay. And so, yeah. So the guides refer to their counsel as life wisdom, love, inspiration, faith, and empowerment. So he says Ed's guides will answer questions about finding your way in current times, understanding your relationships in all forms, and whatever you're working on as you walk your life's path. So I can tell you this, is that the more specific your question is, the more specific the answer. Okay. So many times I even get this, it's like, what does spirit have for me today? Or what does spirit really need me to know today? Um, that's a very general question. And so you're going to get a general answer. Okay. If you're looking for something very specific, be specific in your question. And so hopefully you'll be able to join Ed for that on August 29th. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. He is so good. Yeah. And if you ever watched his live stream show, he gives you a taste of what that's like to meet with him and the guides. Okay. All right. And so the next one up, let's talk a little bit about Julie Hedges. She has a class coming up called Karmic Communication and Conscious Expression. Don't you just love that? I love the colors in this one. This is going to be 2 Saturdays. It's a series, September 19th and 26th. And with this one is just becoming more conscious and fulfilled in your relationships. It's how we communicate. When you understand your innate, it's what you came in with, karmic communication blueprint, right? So she says, elevate your conscious expression, revitalize your core karmic voice. Don't you just love that? Your core karmic voice. Recognize your shining inner and expressive selves in your personal astrology chart. It's going to be a big one. Discover your communication strengths, because we all have them. We have strengths and weaknesses in that. Understand the unique elemental energies fueling all of your communications, and realize how the communication gateway of 2022 offers healing for your personal communication blueprint. Know that you are seen and heard for who you truly are. Okay, so this is going to be Julie's very, very first online class with us as a teacher, and so I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there, and hopefully you guys will be able to join us for that too. I don't know. Take a look at the picture that Julie found for her promotion. That's actually a woman drumming. Isn't that cool? I really like that a lot. It's a shaman woman drumming. Very cool. So that's in September, 2 Saturdays, 19th and 26th. Last one up is, I think it's my own. I always forget this one. My own. All right. So for those of you who have studied with me in the past, Awakening an Illuminated Heart, this is my new rendition of this one. This is called The Journey of Remembering. I had to convert it to an online class because I used to only teach this one in person. It's a 6-week class. We're meeting once a week for 6 weeks, starting September 20th and running till October 25th. That October 25th class may happen in person for those people who can get here, but those who can't get here will continue online. Okay. Um, yeah, we don't know how travel is going to work by then. And so this is all about remembering your joy, because when we remember our joy and how to hold that frequency, that's where we start manifesting from. Okay. And this is really all about our ascension and living our lives from our hearts. Yeah. And so this is my very first time teaching this online, and so I'm only taking 12 people for this particular class. When I teach it in person, so many times I have anywhere between 15 to 20 people in this class. So the reason why it's going to be small is because I want to make sure that I can get to each one of you and have your questions answered. And I know that takes a lot more time, right? And so we're only having 12 people, and it's kind of like a core group, founding members, so to speak. Okay, and at a more than an introductional registration fee. So if you would like to take this class with me, know that we're going to also be including quite a bit of information about the medicine wheel in this class. So that's why it's 6 weeks on. We need that extra time. So if you're interested in any of that, please just visit us at starnations.org and you'll get all the extra information, more detail, and how to register for any one of those. Okay? All right. Good one. Yay. Thank you for letting me take time for that. I know that we're just past a couple of minutes. Um, and so I really do appreciate you joining me this evening and being here so I could share with you the backstory for Star Nations magazine and the July issue that we published, we worked on, created during another Mercury retrograde. And I swear we should probably give out gold stars for when we publish during Mercury retrograde. So thank you so much for being here, both the Facebook online chat people and also the YouTube people. Thank you so much for being with me this evening. And you can join me next week for Communications from Home. And we will be discussing a whole nother piece of, um, oh, sure. I was just going to say it. And I'm going to be starting a new series next week. So you'll have to join me for that. That's 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay. All right. So enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, and we'll see you back here next week for Communications from Home. Bama Mina. That's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys. you.